Hello, Dan. Keith Goodling here at Intulse, and I had done a demo for Jeffrey earlier this week. You weren't able to attend. He asked me to do an overview for you to view and see firsthand the functionality of the Intulse phone solution and especially how it pertains to the Zoho integration, which you guys have. Unfortunately, I do not have a live Zoho database to show you in real time, but I do have several others, and the one that I'm going to show you, the functionality that you're going to see there is exactly the same as the functionality that you would get or will get with the Zoho integration. So I'll make sure to highlight the features that would be included and what you would enjoy. So without further ado, let's get started here, and I'll try to be as logical as possible as I go through this overview demo. First thing I'd like to point out to you is what we're looking at here is what we call our dashboard app, or the Intulse app. It does include a virtual phone, which gives people the ability to turn their laptop desktop into a phone. If they want to, just connect a headset. Also gives you the ability to search inside of the CRM that you are connected with, and in this case I'm searching for Keith because I know he's in the database, and let's say this was your Zoho database. It would show all of the people with the name, first or last name Keith in your database. You could find them. Here's a mobile number, and I could click call, and it would start dialing that number right from this interface, which is pretty convenient. You also have the ability from inside of Zoho. In this case, I'm showing you a CRM called Redtail, which is for financial advisors. Same type of situation. In your Zoho interface, any phone number that you would have in the database, your users will be able to just click on that phone number. They're going to get a little pop-up that just confirms, is this what you want to do? You want to call this number. If they click OK, it's going to start ringing their desk phone. They just answer the phone, press speaker or just answer or whatever. Then it's going to complete the call and dial the number that they were trying to call, which again, super convenient, super easy, very efficient. The other thing that's probably worth pointing out, even though I don't know how many of your users would actually take advantage of it, beyond Jeffrey and maybe a couple of managers, is the fact that our app is available on your iPhone or Android device. So all of the functionality that I'm showing you on the big screen is also available in the palm of your hand, and all of the same functionality, including, let's search for somebody who's in our Zoho database. Let's find them and let's touch call and dial them from our mobile device. But here's the key. It's going to show the caller ID of your business number, and it's going to actually be going through the business phone system, not from that person's cell phone or their cell number, and that's huge. Next thing we're going to look at here is an incoming call and the call notification and how quickly you can be in somebody's record on an incoming call. But before we do that, a little bit of housekeeping on this screen, what it is that you're looking at. These are extensions on the system. When we set the system up for you guys, these are all going to be logical names of the people in your organization, kind of like Robert and Adam. In my demo system, it helps me to know that the phones that I'm actually using, so that's why they're named this. Down here are custom buttons that we have set up. It's probably a good time to mention we take care of all of the system setup for you guys. This is not going to be another phone system that Jeffrey's going to have to learn how to set up, program, and maintain. We become an extension of your organization supporting your phone system. So we take care of all of that. We set up the IVRs, the menu structure, exactly the way you want it. When somebody calls, these are the options. Here's what happens when they press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all of those things. You send us the recorded messages. We put them in the place where you want them to be. And it's a beautiful situation. Realize you guys are in a different time zone, but we do answer the phone Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. You will get a live person. You will actually get somebody who is familiar with your account. We do have emergency support after those hours. And just to kind of give you a level of comfort, we have some organizations that have hundreds of users in 3 time zones with multiple offices throughout the United States, and we support them splendidly. So now let's have an incoming call, and I'm going to actually have them come in on a queue. So it's going to ring multiple phones. Oops, guess I didn't dial that right. Hang on. That's better. So now we're hearing phones ring, and you can see all of these phones are part of the queue. If we went over here and looked, we'd be able to see that queue, and we can see that phones are ringing here. I should be getting a call notification, but for some reason I'm not. So I'm going to go ahead and answer this call. And probably because I'm doing screen recording, Microsoft is blocking my notifications, unfortunately. Let's take a look here. Okay, I may have to call back in. But we'll show that momentarily. At least for now, what you're going to be able to see is when someone is on a call. So this is the actual user over here of this interface. And each of your people in your organization who want to, and it would make sense for them to have access to this software, they're going to be able to see this when they're on an active call. This would show up here even if they were using their desk phone. But it does give you some additional, interesting functionality here, like the ability to point and click transfer calls, whether it's to another person or to a conference or to a parking space. The ability to start and stop call recording, which is included with our solution. We will give you the ability to record every single call if you want to. The ability to send a call to your mobile device, or the ability to create a call log while you're on the call. So I can choose the user in the system that call is associated with from the drop-down list in case there were multiple people that actually were sharing a phone number, maybe in a family or etc. or a business. You can put in a brief subject, start typing some notes, and click Save, and that content's going to get saved with the call log. What's going on over here is the monitoring of other extensions. So you're going to be able to see that, like for example, on the sales team, this particular salesperson is on the phone with Keith Demo. And so that name is clickable. And then I can click that name again, and it's going to take me into that person's record in the CRM, in your case, in Zoho. So super helpful to be able to get into a record very, very quickly rather than searching and trying to find, that person on the fly. Okay, now I'm calling back in. I'm going to see if I get a call notification here. There it is. And let's see, there it is, open in Redtail. In your case, it would say open in Zoho. So this is happening before the call is even answered. I click on that. I also answer the call on the desk phone. But the beauty is that because I clicked on that on my desktop, I'm in that person's record in Zoho before I even answer the call. So what we're doing here is we're looking into the Zoho database, and we're looking for a particular phone number that is the caller ID of the person who's calling in. We're making a match, we're making a connection. And then what we're going to do, either automatically or manually, you guys will decide what makes the most sense, is that we're going to create a call log. If we do it automatically, you're going to get this information right here, because this is all that we know about the call from the phone system. We know the direction of the call, if it's inbound or outbound. We know the day and the time, we know the duration, we know what phone number it was with, which again, notice it's a click to dial. I can click on it, I get that pop-up, I can say yes or no to call, and then I get a download link to the actual call recording. Now, if you do manual call logging, which means you're going to log that call during the call or after the fact, you have the ability to put in a subject, which would be this bolded information here, and the ability to put in information, notes about the call itself. So it gives you more context on every single call. But with Zoho, maybe what you guys want to do is just have those calls auto-logged, and then people can go in after the fact and add additional content and context about the call if that's necessary. Every call in and out of the Intulse system is going to get logged, and users are going to be able to see that call history in this piece of software. They're also going to see call history um, on their desktop phones, just like they are now, that they can, they can view and they can call back or whatever. The cool thing about this is, when somebody has a missed call or a voicemail or whatever, they just hit this return call button, and boom, they can just call back right from here. Again, the integration follows that phone number throughout the system wherever it can show up, whether it's in a voicemail, whether it's in a call history, and it gives you that link to that person's record in Zoho that they're going to be able to quickly get there. This indicates that the call was actually recorded, and I can click on this and actually listen to the call recording right here. Or I can search historical call recordings through this area here with a date range or particular number or particular extension that I want to search in. Speaking of reporting, there is a ton of reporting that you can do. You can put in specific phone numbers that you would like to block, and that's going to be system-wide. So you don't get those spam calls. You identify those numbers. You just put them in here. You're never going to get calls from that number again. You can run reports on detailed call records, call summary, call recordings, extension activity, if you want to see the activity for a specific extension in your organization. How about queue calls by the hour based on the queue that you want to look at? How about queue activity by the hour based on specific queues, which we're going to set up as many different queues as you guys want in terms, and also apply the membership and those types of things. Queue disconnects. This is a great report, and as I remember talking to Jeffrey, he seemed to think that what we're reporting on here is going to meet his needs. I'll attach a sample report that I ran. It's pretty much all zeros because I don't have a lot of actual activity in this demo system that mimics real business activity, but it's going to show you all of the different categories and the different information that is provided in the report, and then the queue agent, and we can develop a custom report for very little out-of-pocket cost, maybe a couple $100, depending on the level of complexity. But most of the reporting that we've discovered so far that people are looking for, they have the ability to get out of this particular area. Which then takes me to the queue area where you can kind of see at a glance. This is dynamic reporting that your managers and yourself are going to be able to see. You choose what queue you want to view. In this case, we're viewing the demo queue 5000. We're going to be able to see at a glance what were the number of calls completed, how many calls were lost, which means they hung up or they went to voicemail. What was the estimated wait time? What was the average talk time? What was the percentage of calls that were answered in under a minute? You guys will tell us what the proper threshold is for that, if a minute is appropriate, or 50 seconds, or a minute and a half. Whatever do you think is most valuable? And then these are the agents that are servicing that queue. So when there's a call coming in, those are the people whose phones will ring if they're available. So let me just go ahead and generate a couple of inbound calls here so you can see what it looks like when we have multiple calls coming in, and see if I can do this here. So there's one coming in, somebody named Tina Rubble. And we're going to have another call coming in here. So you can see there's two callers that are in the queue. These are all flashing because these people could all take the calls. Let's say that one of these agents was paused, or they paused themselves while calls were coming in. They now turn yellow. If somebody was actually on Do Not Disturb, now we can see that they're red and busy, and so we can as a manager, I can transfer this call and just say, hey, I'm just going to send this to my extension so I can answer it, or send it to somebody's extension if one of these people don't answer it. And I have a running time counter here to see how long somebody has been on hold waiting for somebody to answer the call. So let's go ahead and see if we can answer one of these calls. Let me take this guy off of Do Not Disturb. And we're going to go ahead and answer this call. So now we have one active call in use. This T54W is in use on a queue call. And the other person is still on hold. So supposedly these other phones are ringing, but I don't have the ability to answer them at the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and transfer it to another extension. Let's see here, 801. So let me see if I can do this. Transfer to 801. You hear that ringing, and now I'm going to answer it, and there we go. So now 801 picked up that call because I transferred it to them, even though they're not part of the queue. And people have the ability to log in and out of the queue. And so, yeah, we'll go over all of this as part of the setup and the onboarding, and I think it's going to be a beautiful thing for your team. Really help you guys with reporting and providing excellent customer service and great efficiency. As you can see here in the extension monitoring area, we have two users that are on the phone with two different people. It's also able to see in the queue area that this particular person is part of the queue and they're actually on the phone with someone there. I don't think I even went over this with Jeffrey earlier. We didn't get to it, but we are just about to release, I think we're going to release it over the weekend, an update to the system where people are now going to have the ability to do internal messaging, kind of like Teams, where you can direct message people, just start a conversation, choose a user. I want to send a message to this person, or create a channel, or send an SMS or MMS message through this interface. That would be more for external situations. So that's pretty exciting, and that's some cool stuff that you guys are going to be able to do with our solution, and that's all included and unlimited. So I did say unlimited, and I think it's worthwhile mentioning as part of this demo that we're not going to charge you per minute or per call or per fax or per text message. Your toll-free number is all inclusive. We're not going to ding you for minutes there either. And so what you've been quoted is exactly what your bill should be, barring any international calls that could add to your invoice. But otherwise, based on your users, the phone numbers, and the integration that you've been quoted, it's exactly what your bill is going to be, and you're going to know what it's going to cost should you add additional users in the future. So hopefully this was helpful, and I don't want to do overkill here or get into way too much information that it becomes confusing. But all of the features that you could possibly be looking for, we're going to be able to deliver to you, and probably more than you'll use or that you've even thought of. Voicemail to email with voicemail transcription is going to be part of the solution. And we were able to confirm that the T42G phones that you guys currently have on your desks, we're going to be able to reconfigure those for you and make those work as well. Jeffrey will be the one who will go around and factory reset them, and our team will walk him through getting them pointed to the Intulse server so we can get you guys up and running very quickly and get you switched off of your current provider and enjoying the full functionality that I've been showing you here. So if you guys have additional questions, let me know. It will be our pleasure to serve you guys well should you decide that this is the best solution for you. Thank you, Dan, for the opportunity to share this information with you, and thank you that I've been able to interact with Jeffrey thus far, and we're looking forward to what the future holds. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend.